I have two young boys who are 6 and 7 years old, but I live in the UK. And so this conversation hasn't come up with them. But I have to tell you, doctor, if they were able to decide to change their gender medically without my consent, I mean, I don't know how I would react. I mean, that whole concept is really foreign to me, being in the UK, now that I'm no longer in America. What can you tell me and maybe the rest of the world about the state of the union now in America of gender ideology? What is going on there on the ground?
What's going on the ground here is that professionals like myself are instructed by our medical organizations to rubber stamp a child's new identity of the opposite sex, regardless of their age, regardless of their underlying emotional issues. They may have autism or severe anxiety, depression. They may have gone through something traumatic in their lives. They may have gone through any number of things that may have led them to want to assume a different identity. But we are supposed to, in a kind of a knee-jerk reaction, put our stamp of approval on the new identity, use the new name, the new pronouns, inform everyone in the child's life, the school, neighbors, grandparents, to celebrate the new identity and to put the kid into the driver's seat. That's what's going on in the US.
And what age does this start at, and what age does this happen typically?
Okay, well, you see, what's going on with the gender issue is that we have always known in psychiatry that it exists. We've always known that gender dysphoria, meaning an intense discomfort with one's sex, we've always known that that exists, at least for the past 100 years or so. But until now, there's really only been, let's say, 2 populations in which this symptom of gender dysphoria was found. It was found very rarely in young boys, mostly young boys. A majority, like 80% of the kids that had gender dysphoria were little boys prior, years before puberty. So they might have been 2, 3, or 4 years old, and they are consistently coming to their parents and saying, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, or I am just praying to God to wake up tomorrow and be a girl. They are, they have more stereotypically feminine interests, and instead of playing with trucks, they're playing with dolls and all these kind of stereotypes. Now, those group of kids are said to have childhood onset gender dysphoria, and we know that the vast majority of them, as they grow up, they will grow out of it. So we have 11 studies from different clinics in the world that have studied these kids, even though they are extremely rare. And by rare, I mean 1 in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Until 20 years ago, Brian, there were only 3 clinics in the entire world that would treat these children. 3 clinics. Now in the US, it's hard to know exactly how many we have, but we have at least 100. So, that points out what's happened over here. Things have exploded. But let me just get back to these 2 populations that we used to study. The other population were middle-aged heterosexual men who enjoyed cross-dressing. And at some point after they had their families, they got married, had families, they decided that they would like to live the rest of their lives as women or appearing as women. They're not actual women. And so those were the 2 groups that we were focused on in psychiatry. Now, not long ago, maybe 8 years ago, a new phenomenon occurred, a new demographic of kids. And these were teenage girls, the majority of them teenage girls. And so we've had this, we're in the midst right now of an epidemic of this new, It's a new demographic. It's a new cohort of kids that we have not seen before. They are mostly girls. There's a lot of boys as well, but the majority are girls. They have pre-existing mental health problems. They have depression, anxiety, trauma, autism, all sorts of issues that existed before the new identity. They don't have, in general, a history of complaining about being a girl. Many of them were what we call girly girls, very feminine, very into all the stereotypical girl things. And they have a history before coming out as transgender of being immersed in internet, social media, YouTube videos that are promoting this idea of being born in the wrong body and promoting the idea that perhaps you're transgender and that you will feel better, you will no longer be depressed, you will no longer have trouble making friends, you will fit in with people if you live as the opposite sex and so to speak, transition. So this is a new group of kids. The other thing that's so remarkable is that a majority of these kids are within a friend group, either online or at school in person, a friend group that has one or more other young person who's identifying as transgender.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.